The rear end really came out nice on this thing, man. This isn't sitting outside for, I mean, obviously that's still rusty because we didn't paint that because we're gonna get a new one, but I'm really stoked with how the rear end ended up coming out on this thing. Alright, so we got the old Subaru back in here. We actually got it up on the lift, as you can see. Well, I guess I did that last night. He saw some stuff. I don't know. Either way, alright, so we got the drive shaft in, as you saw last night. And it's all just kind of mocked in there. One bolt holding it in, nothing special. What we are going to end up doing is essentially, this is where the seat mounts in, so just above this, I'm gonna cut straight back all the way across here on either side. And I'm gonna do that basically starting right here. So we will basically start from basically this bump right here. I said basically like 7 times. Cut them straight back, cut up into the tunnel here on either side, and then we'll cut this whole step up out. This is where the back floor kind of steps up to the seat. And so we'll cut all this out and basically run it to where we're same level right here, all the way down to up here, where you can see it kind of jumps up too. And that should take care of our clearance issues, because, yeah, should being the operative term. I really won't know how close we get to the floor pan here, or the seat pan here, which I'm hoping it's not that close, until we get all that cut out. So I'm going to pull the drive shaft back out, and then grab probably the plasma cutter and cut the floor up here and see where we get to with that. Then we'll have to put it all together and put it back on the ground and see how far up and in the drive shaft actually goes. And then after that, I'll have to pull the springs and shocks out of this thing and set it on the bump stops and see how we look at full bump. Because what I don't want to happen is we hit a bump or hit something and any nicks or dings or anything gets in this drive shaft and it then becomes an issue with going boom. And we definitely don't want that. So that's what I'm gonna do now, is start cutting up a car again. Alright, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull the drive shaft out, cut some shit, make some marks, some lines or something like that. Probably can't see me because of the light, but I will turn it back on once I've cut a big hole in the floor and see where we get. Alright, so I cut some things, did some things. Here's where we're at. So you can see we cut that bad boy out and moved the tunnel up a bit, and we actually have tons of room there, but now we're actually into the bottom of the seat pan, and it's because you'll notice the seat pan runs downhill. So what we are going to do is essentially, I'm going to slice it from here all the way down to there on both sides, and we're going to peel it up, and that's just going to be a little up spot. We'll take it out of the foam in the seat and be what it's going to be. I'm not too concerned about it. No one sits in the center anyhow, and if they do, well, I don't sit back there. We are getting awfully close up in here, but we're not touching yet. So I might need to massage some things in here. I'm getting close to a bolt, it feels like, up in there. I don't know. If I have to, I'll make my tunnel taller. Up here I'm great, as you would assume. I got plenty of clearance. And then I actually hammered a bit right here to give myself a little more room, which it did. I might cut some of that out, I'm not sure. I haven't decided that yet. But yeah, so down here, the next course of action is gonna be to basically take a Sharpie, mark my locations, and then give that a chop. I'm currently right now about 1 inch from bump, and You gotta figure right here, I've got about 2.5 inches, 3 inches. So if I can get this level all the way back, I think we'll be okay. And I ended up not doing the plasma cutter, mainly because I get cleaner cuts with the freaking death wheel. And if I got a good template or straight edge I can clamp in, I can pull really good. I'm just not really great with that plasma cutter yet. It has its purposes, and this is more a precision thing. Because the nicer I can make it, the easier it's going to be to weld shit back into it, and that's kind of where my head went with it. So I am going to probably pull the drive shaft out again. We'll see. I might just drop it down all the way out of the way. And then I'll cut that loose, hammer it up and in, and then we'll shove this thing. I just took the shocks off. Put it on the trans jack. And that's how I'm able to run it all the way up and in without, you know, knocking it off. I'm basically just doing this to try to get the gist of where the flow is going to be. So everything seems to work pretty damn good. I'll let it down just a little. So yeah, you can see where it was up on the yoke there, but no big deal. So yeah, I'm gonna get that marked out and out of the way, chop some more, and then I will turn you guys back on when we see where we're at with clearance. And then I'll probably, once I get good clearance, I'll run it through for you guys and let you see how it looks. So I got everything cut out up down here. You can see I got all this pushed back and up. Got just enough clearance up in there. I do want to do a little bit of shaping in that. Push this up, I got plenty. We are at full bump stop right now. I did have to hammer a bit up in here to get some clearance, but I got about a finger width on top and all the way around, basically. About our tightest spot is right there. It's, like I said, about a finger. But this is full bump. It should never be driving under its own power at bump. You know, I mean, worst case scenario, hard launch, but we should never hit the bumps on a launch. It should stop just before. So this should be good. I just need to basically fit everything and massage and whatnot. And I'm gonna end up doing a hoop here, I think, for the drive shaft. Should have just enough room to get a 1-inch hoop in here. And then I don't think I'm really going to do one up front because I don't think I need to. I think one right here in the middle should be fine. Because this way, wherever it comes apart, it should hold it where it needs to be. Should being the operative term. And yeah, so she's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and get her out of here. And then start cleaning up the metal to figure out how the hell I'm going to tack all this back together. It's going to be a bunch of making little patch pieces everywhere to stitch the floor back together. But once that's done, we can put the drive shaft in and go. I do need to figure out what we're doing for a shifter setup, because we have the stock shifter in there, but it's tight and doesn't really fit the way it's set up. So I need to, gonna need to do some modifications to that whole setup and then make it work. But yeah, so pretty stoked how this is coming so far. It's a little bit more cutting than I thought. I was hoping I didn't have to cut the bottom of the seat, but as you can see, that just didn't work out. I am pretty stoked with how centered the drive line is. You can tell it is definitely still to this side, this side, just a little driver or passenger side a little bit. And that was, I think, 11 mil was what we couldn't get out of it to get it dead centered. But that's still pretty damn close. So I'm pretty damn stoked with how it's coming out. Probably gonna end up taking a break for a little while today. I need to get the bolts that actually are used for that. I got them coming in today, and then I can run it through one more time, make sure we're good on clearances, and then I can start, you know, basically putting it all together. I guess will be the plan. But all right, yeah. So I'll check in back with you guys once I make a little more progress. All right, so it's the next day. Been at it for a couple of hours, planned. Made some progress putting the tunnel back together a little bit. So, you roll down here. All right. So I cleaned up, stitched this together, stitched some little pieces up in here to give this some rigidity, and ground it all down and whatnot. So that looks pretty decent. I have put the drive shaft back in here. It still fits. I mean, it's tight at bump, but it should be fine. And then, yeah, so that's all of that. I guess at this point, I'm about to put some cardboard down in here and make some templates for these side pieces so I can get this all done. So I want to get all this welded up and in and good, and then I will plate off this and this. Well, first I'll put the hoop in, which will go from here to there, and weld in all of this, and this will tie it all together and make it strong. Then I'll weld up on the inside everything in the structure in there for that hoop, and then I'll plate it off. And that'll be to serve two purposes. It gives me a hoop for the drive shaft so that doesn't come out and do anything crazy, and then it also gives me a some support to put back in, because that kind of was you know, obviously as you can see, a boxed member of the that's obviously a boxed section of frame, essentially unibody, whatever you want to call it. And so by taking this out, I've taken a lot of the structure side to side out here. I wasn't too concerned about it with all of the structure I just put in up here that goes side to side, but I want to strengthen this, and then this hoop right here at 1.25 inch thick wall. I think it's 195 wall, something like that. We'll definitely keep that together and give it some rigidity. So we'll go with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the cardboard out. In fact, I already got it right there. So I'm gonna get that up in here, get this traced out, get it cut out, and then I'll cut it out of the sheet, and then do some massaging, and I'll probably show it to you guys once I'm done. All right, so made some progress. Used some cardboard, made a template, and then welded it all up and in. So obviously I still gotta clean it up, maybe hit a little grinder action, but she's all welded in on the top side. All right, so I ended up doing the hoop in, because it has to get welded in behind there, because I did this plate out of all one piece, which I'm pretty stoked with how that came out. So it's all welded up and in. I just gotta clean it up again, like you're saying. And then I gotta do the same thing on that side. So the welds are not the prettiest thing. It's kind of tricky to weld this upside down and backwards. Or at least that's my excuse for my shitty welding. But they may not look pretty, but they're strong. I know that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. I need to get this side templated out so I can get that all up and in. And once that's in, I really just need to get dry ice so I can pop out all of the shielding back here that I actually didn't even know was there, to tell you the truth. So go ahead and pick some of that up here in a little while and knock that out. Probably won't show that again because it's just like the last time, nothing really to see. But I will check back in with you. I should get back to it today, so if not, we'll see you tomorrow. Alright, so it's a day or two later. I've been doing some cutting and some banging and some painting and all kinds of good stuff. So, we got our shocks back in. We got a drive shaft in, and as you can see, we've got a little more room in the tunnel. So, all the way up and in, we got our little hoop, keeper hoop, or whatever you want to call that thing. Which, if it ever breaks, it won't let this drive shaft droop too far down. We got good clearance all the way around and everything. So, it came out real nice. You can see all the weld jobs and all that. Did a little undercoating on here. A little rubberized in some spots, and came out real nice. So we're gonna put her down. I still gotta take care of the inside. So as you can see, not cleaned, haven't done anything to it yet. But it looks good. Pretty much comes up and goes straight across. The little bit it comes up can totally be soaked up into the seat You'll never really notice it. This little bit coming up here doesn't really do anything, you know, mean anything to us. So that's not that big of a deal. That's all fine. So I'm pretty stoked with how it came out. Like I said, I just need to wire wheel it up and paint it. And then, yeah, that's basically it. Got a notch for the center console. And then that's about the end of it as far as body mods really go. That was the last thing that really needed to be modified in order to get the drivetrain to work. Everything else is pretty much done. I'm actually really stoked with the way, I mean, once I clean that up and made it not look so cobbled together like it kind of does right there, its symmetry looks nice. It looks like it's kind of supposed to be that way. It doesn't look that crazy that it, you know, does go up like that. So should just have a little bit of notching to do for the center console. And then when we figure out what we're doing for carpet, I mean, obviously a stock carpet's not going to fit, so I'll have to figure out how we're doing carpet when they come around to that point. That's the plan. So I'm going to clean up that inside a little bit, paint it and all that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's all done, and then I'll probably do it for this episode. So I'll check back in with you in a little bit. Alright, so as usual, I almost forgot to turn the camera on. Actually, about did. And I actually moved into some other things, but I did get this all done. Got the support bar put back in. Everything fits like a champ, man. Came out real nice. The paint really makes all the difference. It doesn't look nearly as trashy. And then, yeah. So I was just cleaning up some things and playing with the dash and figuring out what my next steps are going to be. But really stoked with how that came out. I mean, couldn't ask for a better fit on a car that has 27 different cars worth of shit in it. I mean, to only have to do that little bit of cutting and clearancing for what we ended up doing is not bad at all. It looks pretty damn good. You start seeing it from the different angles. Nothing too crazy. Once you get it covered up with some dyno mat or some carpet or something like that, it looked like it was always supposed to be that way. That was kind of the point. So appreciate you guys checking it out. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Tell some friends about us, and we'll see you on the next one.